guys, welcome back to Medical Coding with Blue. Today's episode is all about how to regroup after you have failed a medical coding exam and what to do now. If you are brand new to my channel, welcome. I am Blue, I'm a medical coder. Okay guys, I get comments from folks asking me, Blue, what should I do? I failed my test, maybe for the second or the third time, and what are some test strategies or some test taking tips that you can give me? Guys, I'm not about the shortcuts. I'm about doing things the slow way, because the slow way is the fast way. To quote a fellow Texan YouTuber, Rick from Think Like a Horse, he says the slow way is the fast way. In medical coding terms, it translated for us, it means when you take the time to learn the coding, you're going to be able to go faster, which means you're going to be able to pass the test. Now, what happens a lot of times is that people don't study enough. They don't study enough hours of the week in order to really sufficiently prepare themselves for these tests. And that happens because sometimes we just don't know. And sometimes we're sold the fact that, oh, this is an easy test, and if you follow these test taking strategies, you'll be able to pass too. It's not about that, guys. A lot of these tests are going to test you on your medical coding knowledge and skill applied. So you need to make sure that you are applying the medical coding skill, meaning that you are going to take your workbooks and you are going to work through them sufficiently again. So that way you can really prepare yourself. The people that are not prepared are the people who are trying to get away with studying maybe 5 hours a week and then thinking that they'll be prepared for the test because maybe they barely missed it, when they failed their test. What happens a lot of times is people get cocky because they just barely miss it, and then they think that they don't need to study, they reschedule themselves, and then all of a sudden they fail even worse the second time because they did not change their study strategy. So my advice is this: if you have failed, don't start playing the blame game, because that's another thing that I see a lot of people do, is they start playing the blame game. They want to point fingers and it's your fault, it's this person's fault, it's the teacher's fault. It's nobody's fault, guys. It happened. It's just something that just happened. So now you're starting over again from scratch, but you're starting again with experience. So that's the thing to look at, okay? It's a positive. You are starting with experience. Look at your books. Look at the condition of your books. And you may have to get a new set of books because maybe you need to go into the next year version of the test. And so now you have to get a new set of books. This is not an ad for Optum, but Optum360coding.com is the one that has the great deals on the ICD-10-CM, the ICD-10-PCS, and the HCPCS manuals. The AMA CPT Professional Edition is the one that we all need. It is also available on the Optum website. So, and they always have sales. So you're always going to get a really good deal getting your books from Optum. All right. That's just my advice anyway. But take a look at the condition of your books. If your books are excessively tabbed, if you have all of this excessive writing and you think, I need to transfer all of my notes from my old book to my new book so that when I take my test, I have my notes. Guys, these are timed exams. Timed exams. The CCS, the CCSP, and the CPC are all 4-hour exams. And that time goes by lickety-split, okay? The CCA is a 2-hour exam. So there is no time to look at notes. Save that time from excessively writing in your notes or circling the book up for the CPT manual. Save that time and instead work in the workbooks that you would have spent all those 8 hours doing all that writing or tabbing or highlighting. Save that time and work through the workbooks. Look up the codes. I have my Patreon channel, and on my Patreon channel, I put out exercises. I put out, word, medical terminology exercises, and I also put out ICD-10-CM, ICD-10-PCS, and CPT code exercises where I'm giving a list of diagnoses or a list of procedures, and the people have to look them up. Now, a lot of people will say, well, we want like the big notes and the op notes and the encounter notes and things like that. If you don't know what you're looking for because you haven't been practicing looking up codes to code them out and work through the books, you are not going to know what to look at in these big notes. So concentrate on looking at those things. And that's why I give them to my Patreons, to have them help them exercise with that kind of stuff. And when you start doing that, guess what's going to happen? It's going to make you faster in the book. It's going to make you more proficient at looking up codes so that you're not going to be so dependent and reliant on test taking strategies and how do I crack the exam and none of that nonsense. It's going to be actually you exercising, okay, I know this, I have this skill, so I'm going to be looking up these codes and I'm going to be applying this, and when I look at this op note, I'm going to be able to spot, diagnoses, or I'm going to be able to spot procedures because I've been taking the time to look these things up. Okay, so start by doing that. Get on a exam study schedule time, right? I have my study templates, that for the hours to study. And I recommend that you get on that. There's a template that I put out 17 and a half hours during the week, 2.5 hours on the weekend, and you have the rest of the weekend off. I think it's very important to incorporate periods of rest while you are studying. And I think that it's very equally as important before you retake your test to give yourself at least 3 days. I say 5 days, but at least 3 days of no study at all, so that way when you walk into that test room, you're going to be ready, refreshed, and this is your second or third time taking it, and you're going to be ready this time because your body's going to be relaxed, you're going to know what to expect, and you're going to get in there and you're going to knock that test out of the park. So that's the thing that you have to look at, guys. It is possible to pass these tests. If you are struggling with a particular subject, or you don't know a particular topic, find a mentor or find a tutor. Now, a mentor is going to be able to help you out for free. Now, a tutor, you'll have to put out a few dollars, but sometimes that's maybe all you need in order to get you going, okay? So there's a ton of tutors on LinkedIn. You can just put out a query and you'll see a lot of them answer, or there will be people who will respond to you giving you their recommendations. So you can always do that. And just keep in mind that my schedule is currently booked until April the 9th, 2023. So I am not available for any appointments until after that date. So if you're interested, my contact information is in the description box below. And guys, this is something to take very, very serious. Taking these tests is going to open the doors to a bright new future. And the only way you're going to be able to get through those doors to a bright new future is by really putting in the time. And a lot of people will tell me, Blue, I don't have time. I have my kids, but I want a better life for them. You want a better life for them and you want a better life for your family, but it's going to take you to do a little bit more studying, okay? And I always say to not study for more than 1 hour at a time. If you go past 1 hour, your brain is going to get tired and you're not going to be able to retain the information as long, okay? So that's why I'm telling you guys to get conditioned and make sure that you study for 30 minutes or 1 hour at a time. And then use the templates that are out there. It's on my Instagram channel. It's on the YouTube community tab under Medical Coding with Blue. And you'll be able to find them, okay? And so it's just a template. You can fix the time however it's best for you. But I really do strongly recommend that you do not study for longer than 1 hour at a time. Because people who tend to cram 2-3 hours at a time, guys, it just does not work. I am somebody who successfully passed these medical coding certification exams 3 times. And so I'm telling you guys what I have experienced, what has helped me, and I hope it will help you. But you have to stop being so resistant and say, oh no, I can't. Yes, you absolutely can. When I tell people that I believe that you can do this, I truly do believe that. Because when it comes to being an adult and being out there in the real world, trying to do right in your career, trying to do right by, finding a really good job, it takes a lot of effort. There's going to be, several kicks to your ego during this process. Failing the exam is one of them. Okay, guys? And so I'm just telling you how to kind of reverse that and look at it from a different point of view. Don't play the blame game. Don't try to do the pointing fingers and saying, oh, it's this person's fault or it's my school's fault. We have the ability as medical coders to be able to teach ourselves. There's many wonderful manuals out there. And like I said, the manuals that I recommend are in the description box below. And it's the ICD-10-CM and ICD-10-PCS Coding Handbook with the Answers by Nellie Leon Chizen. This is not an ad for that book, but that is a fantastic book. The same thing with the CPC study guide that covers the complete CPT manual. So, and that is good if you are taking an AHIMA exam or an AAPC exam. Okay, so just those are things to keep in mind. Reading the coding guidelines once per week cannot be stressed enough. There are many ways that you can listen to the guidelines. A lot of the newer computers out there that has a read aloud feature, use that to be able to listen to the coding guidelines when you are washing dishes or doing, other things. Those are things that you can incorporate that little bit of study time throughout your day. And whether it is that you're driving to work, you can listen to something. You can listen to something about medical coding. You can listen to one of the HIPAA channels on YouTube, and you can find that by letting your fingers do the walking and get into YouTube and look and see all the things that they have available when it comes to like HIPAA and those types of things. So that's just something that's a resource out there for you. But you have to be proactive, guys. No one is going to hold your hand and spoon feed you all of this information. No one. It's about getting yourself in that study mode, making a realistic retest date for yourself, getting that test date up where you can see it, so that way you can know that you have a deadline and know that this is not just because you failed it one time does not mean that you're going to keep failing it. All right. And being so nervous comes from not being prepared a lot of the time. There's going to be a very small percentage of the population that this is an actual thing, right? It's just their body. It's the way that their body reacts. But for everybody else, it is because they have insufficiently prepared themselves. So you want to make sure that you are preparing yourself, because the more you prepare yourself, the better off your chances of passing that exam will be. And don't worry about, how to crack the exam, because if you're doing that, you're doing it the wrong way, guys. The best way to crack the exam is to actually work through the book. Practice, practice, practice. And make sure that you're opening up all of your books, flipping and looking at all of the pages so you can get familiar with where everything is at in the book. A lot of times people are suffering too because they don't know where to find things in the book. They don't know, if you open up the CPT manual, that on the inside cover, there's a whole list of all of the modifiers and where they apply. I went back and forth with a lady on this one. I was like, no, I blocked her. She was upset with me. But that's okay, guys, because if you're not listening, I can't help you. I literally can't help you. But all those modifiers are there, okay? And there's no need to waste precious brain power memorizing modifiers or anything else that is actually in the book that you can look up at any time during your exam. Okay, these are open book tests in the exam. You will have access to your books. So with that said, you want to make sure that you get as comfortable with your books as you possibly can and set yourself up for success that way. Because doing that and getting to know the book and being as comfortable with it, you're going to know right where to go. All right. There's lots of anatomy templates. If you're using the Optum 360 ICD-10-CM, ICD-10-PCS, or even the HCPCS Level 2 book, all of them are all really well written, and there's a lot of extra information in there. There are many different publishers that are out there, when it comes to ICD-10 and ICD-10-PCS and HCPCS. There's many other publishers that you can choose from. Now, I don't believe in any of those other books. A lot of people will ask me why, because I feel that, and this is again my opinion, and this is not an ad, but I do feel that the Optum books, when it comes to ICD-10-CM, ICD-10-PCS, and HCPCS, are superior to other publishers. Now, that may change in the future, but for the time being, that is my opinion. That is my strong opinion. And if you look at those books, the Optum books, you will see the difference. Because there's a lot of people who will tell me, I have this other book and this other publisher, and it doesn't have the same things that your books have, Blue. Okay, so you do get your choice on ICD-10-CM and ICD-10-PCS and HCPCS. with both associations. They do give you your choice of publisher. So you should be able to use the opt-in books. So that is just my advice. The tools you use really do affect the outcome as well. So use good tools, guys. Get as familiar as you can. Don't tab, don't write, don't highlight, don't waste your time doing any of that nonsense, guys. Just do the good old-fashioned looking up the codes, reading the coding guidelines, listening to the coding guidelines, watching videos about HIPAA, watching videos about other, oh, there goes my light, watching videos about other things, okay? So that's just what I will have to say, and I'm going to go ahead and wrap this one up because this light went out on me. I don't want this light to go out too. So with that said, if this video helps you, I hope that you will like, subscribe, and share, and I will see y'all next time. Bye!